wanted to make his point known loud enough, but he also at some point felt as though he was bullying, for want of a better expression, because the chairman of the committee was pretty new to the appointments committee, the vetting committee. He had been there on a number of years. He knew the ins and outs, so it appeared he was trying to bully his way to the top in the eyes of the chairman of the committee, Bernard Ahiafo. But it'll be great to see how the both of them work. I mean, it's good to see the minority and the majority work. This time around, Kwame's governs Abuja will be the man who'll be in the hot seat. What are the answers? And will his answers be satisfying? Remember, the minority, after the last vetting of the first three ministers, mentioned that they were not impressed about the answers given by the nominees. Will they be impressed this time around? Especially for somebody who's done a lot of work on the Roads and Highways Committee, and for Apinyo Making, who was at one time also on that committee. He was on the road board. He knows a lot of things about the roads and highways. I'm interested to see how that will pan out. Very, very interesting times ahead indeed. But I mean, for all the demonstrations that we've seen in the previous years, I can say that a majority of those were on roads. No roads, no votes. We've seen so many agitations over roads. Ablekuma roads, terrible. We know Doblo roads, terrible. A lot of inner city roads are bad. Inner city roads, completely bad. And in the lead up to the elections, we saw some retrofitting here and there. We saw some works being done, especially in Teshi. And then go there today and see those roads. Back to square one. And sometimes it gets even worse than it was before these works were being done. So I'm sure that he will have his work cut out for him in terms of Kwame Agboja, what he would have to be able to deal with in terms of questions that will be coming from the members of the committee directed at him, looking at the road infrastructure. We've talked about the motorway and the challenges that have been associated, the huge sums that have been pumped into works on the motorway, and how it is still in the state in which it is. It really beats my mind. And whether we're also going to see, the NDC has talked about the reintroduction of road tolls, among others. So I am expecting that all of these will come to the fore. And already residents in Kaswa and other areas are crying foul. They say, you know what, yes, we understand. You want to raise revenue. You want to increase revenue for the state. But please, even without road tolls, the toll booths on our stretch, we are still facing challenges. So what creative means will be adopted this time around so that we do not have a situation where the toll booths now become a huge challenge for motorists along those stretches. And I'm sure that I'm really curious about what Kwame Agboja would have to say about that. I mean, in your area, you don't have to deal with road tolls. I don't. But anytime I have to visit my mom or my folks, I have to Banini is worried because he lives in Kaswa. And for those residents along that stretch, from Weja all the way to Kaswa, you know how it gets very hectic there. And so sometimes I used to say back then when the tolls were in full feather, if you have an event there and invite me, I will not turn up. You will not turn up. Yeah, because I couldn't bear the traffic. Right. But let's see alternative means to ease the congestion on that stretch. There have been suggestions. Could we just make sure that people pay yearly or annually when they're renewing their licenses, or how many people renew their licenses? But if you don't renew and it expires, you have to deal with the police. But how many people renew it? Well, anyway, I mean, if it's added to it, then anytime you renew, it's accrued, so you still pay. But then the conversation is really dicey, because then again, it raises the concerns about those who work at these toll booths. You know, they've agitated so much about the fact that, well, the government promised them, the erstwhile government promised them that once road tolls are scrapped, your toll booths are not functioning, we are going to put you in other sectors. It never happened for them, and the agitations were there. So what creative means are we going to see the GHOne Mahama administration now use in tackling those issues? And I'm sure those will be very grave concerns that people would also be looking out for. And then we're looking at the Minister for Agric. Eric Opoku.
Ranking on the Agri Committee in the 8th Parliament.
And now he gets to head it.
Exactly.
He gets to head that sector.
We heard what the NDC said about planting for food and jobs. The fact that, well, it didn't
at some point, honestly, it felt as though planting for billboards, because when I am traveling to Boko, the only thing I was seeing was the billboard of the then sector minister, who was eyeing for flag bearership.
So it was planting for billboards,
yes,
and not necessarily for food and jobs.
No.
Because when you look at even the drivers of our inflation, we are told that food inflation is what is really shooting things up. You buy a ball of kenke for 5 cedis, and now you are still buying it for 5 cedis, but the quantity is reduced. So people who could not eat 2 balls now can eat 2 balls, because the price of commodities in terms of food stuff keeps rising, and we have those challenges. And we know also that John Dramani Mahama has said that the 24-hour economy will also be primarily hinged on agriculture. We are going to see improvement, and that is why we see even the Ministry of Trade now have agribusiness attached to it. And so it tells you that John Mahama and the NDC administration have put a lot of premium on agriculture. But really, and I remember that somewhere last year I saw a video put up by John Dramani Mahama on his farm, and the fact that he's also into agriculture. So it'll be quite interesting to get to know how
the dynamics,
exactly how that is going to play out nationally, because the economics of the country, really, it's in your pockets. How you are able to afford your 3 square meal. I remember some just saying, in the NPP era, it was 001, 010, 110. I don't know what has changed. Now for you, is it 111 or sometimes 132?
Well, I have always done 111.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So regardless of which parties in power.
No shenipa.
Okay. Okay. Because some just says sometimes we're doing.
But the reality was real. See, the hardship was staring in the faces of everybody. Hitherto, there are people who will not come to you and ask for help financially. But under the SWL government, things were tough. Let's be very realistic.
I don't think anybody ran away from that. Even the government did not run away. They just said that it was as a result of Russia-Ukraine. It was also a result of COVID.
And we're tired of the rhetorics,
Right.
Same old thing.
But the reality is when they...
Even Russia is not crying. Even Ukraine is not crying. Why are we crying more than the bereaved?
Because they don't import from us.
But what happened to the fundamentals? They say when the fundamentals are weak.
That one there, unless we ask.
The economic wasted.
But these are conversations that will come up when it comes to the conversation on agriculture. People have talked about the fact that the NDC, even in their manifesto, noted that the cost of equipment, in fact, in John Dramani Mahama's 120-day contract, social contract, agriculture featured prominently in it. Talk about equipment, fertilizers, and we know what happened with fertilizers. I remember interviewing Malik Basintale in the studio. He pointed to the fact that, well, there are some people within the Kufuor administration who were smuggling fertilizers, and that when John Dramani Mahama becomes president, we are going to see action taken on all of these things. We also saw, even in the Ashanti region, where Joseph Yamin led a team and allegedly discovered tons of fertilizer in warehouses and some people's bungalows, among others. And so it will be really interesting to get to know how the NDC administration under John Dramani Mahama from 2025 will be able to deal with those issues. And those are the things that we expect to come to the fore at the vetting of Eric Opoku as Minister for Agriculture. And it will be very interesting, because I have really spoken to people within the NDC, and they've touched on how it will be transformed. Agriculture will become so attractive again. Agriculture will become so every youth would want to venture into agri because of what the transformation that John Dramani Mahama would bring to the sector. And
sometimes it's a different thing when you're on the other side. When you get in, then the true picture,
the reality strikes, and
the
hits you so
the
hard.
true picture is painted, and then now you have to adjust all the policies that you put in place prior to assuming office. So let's hope that that's Eric Edemagbana in your shorts there. I see the minority leader. I see the chairman of the committee, Bernard Ayafor. And all the
also.
Yes, who is the vice chair, and now the whip is in the hot seat. So I see the deputy ranking Patricia Pejik. She was seemingly quiet in the last vetting committee.
Yeah.
You know, she asked very brief questions, and the rest she was on her phone. I wonder if the posturing of the minority at the time that they were not being allowed to ask certain questions accounted for that. But we're hoping to see, and we're hoping to see a lot of women ask questions. You know,
exactly.
We want to see more women at the decision-making table, and while you're at the table, you need to make it count.
And for today, that's the table right there in your shot. That's the decision-making table. That's the table that gets to decide whether or not
the fate of
someone becomes a minister.
Kwame Gavins Agboja and then Eric Opoku.
Yeah, so that's the table in your shots currently. That's the table that gets to decide whether or not John Dramani Mahama's nominees will pull through. Now, the interesting bit is that I've heard for talk about the fact that, well, there are things that you look out for and conversations that are had when you know a nominee will not be approved or will face some objections. So far, he has not had any of those conversations, so that gives him some level of confidence that the previous nominees who appeared before the committee would have a smooth sailing ride to their ministries. But will that be the case for the nominees that will be appearing before the committee today? That's something else that we would also be looking at. So as it stands now, we see that processes are underway, and any moment from now we'll be crossing over to bring you live feed from Parliament on the Appointments Committee. Today we are expecting Haruna Idrisu as well as Gavins Kwame Agboja for the Roads and Highways Ministry as well, and then later I would also be hearing from Eric Opoku as Minister Designate for Agriculture. Exactly what are your thoughts? Get interactive with us on social media, because we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on X at GHOne TV. So share your thoughts, your comments, and with us, and we'll be sure to also let the whole world know exactly what your thoughts are, particularly on Haruna Idrisu's nomination as Minister for Education. Free senior high school on the table. John Dramani Mahama, even in the lead up to the elections, noted that his administration will not cancel free SHS. There will be a stakeholders deliberation or dialogue, and then ways to fine-tune free SHS would be looked at and then implemented. As it stands now, school feeding, a major headache for parents whose wards are in senior high schools. Diversion of food items, we brought you that story on Saturday as well, and so much regards school feeding. We've heard from the former PRO for the Education Ministry, who says, well, when the NDC were in opposition, they were making so much noise because they did not understand. Now they're faced with the reality, and they're trying to blame the erstwhile government for the challenges. And yes, we would also see how all that will play when Haruna Idrisu takes his turn before the Appointments Committee. But then roads and highways, like we've said, also very big on the agenda, because inner city roads are really terrible in Accra and across the nation. I don't know where you live, but where I live, it's really terrible. Sometimes you feel like you don't have to even leave the area because leaving becomes a big challenge. Taxi drivers are complaining about how they have to frequently visit shops to get their cars fixed, and that also puts a strain on the income they get. Then again, the little they make after all the hard day's work has to be depleted by food, because you have to eat. Man must eat. Most of us are fasting. I mean, 21 days, 40 days, 14 days, but after that you still have to break your fast with food. And so when the prices of food are hitting the roof, clearly that puts a strain on your budget. Then the issue of school fees also comes to play, and Haruna Idrisu will be addressing the issues with education. Eric Opoku will be addressing the issues with agriculture. And then, you know, it's funny how all of these are intertwined.
Yes.
So education, roads,
and agriculture. Agriculture, school feeding, the caterers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Caterers too are saying they've not been paid. And that government says, you know what, start, we'll come to you later. Interested.
And another hurdle.
All right,
education.
so we need to go quickly to Parliament and bring you live sounds from there.
The communication from the President. We have before us today Honorable Kwame Gavins Agboja as Minister Designate for roads and transports, roads and highways. Thereafter, we shall have Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Minister Designate for Education, and Honorable Eriko Poku, Minister Designate for Food and Agriculture. Honorable members, we've agreed to start the day with Honorable Governor Kwame Agboja. Clerk, may you invite him to take the seat. Clerk of the committee, may you proceed to conduct the swearing in for the nominee.
I hereby.
Honorable nominee, your microphone, please.
I, Governor Kwame Agboja,
Swear by the Almighty God.
swear by the Almighty God
That the evidence I shall give before this committee.
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
Touching the matter in issue.
touching the matter in issue
Shall be the truth.
shall be the truth,
The whole truth.
the true whole truth,
And nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Honorable members, may I find out from my ranking member whether he has opening remark.
Chairman, rightly so. I have some opening remarks to make on behalf of the minority caucus. First, we congratulate our colleague on his nomination, and also to say that we have noticed from the communication coming from the presidency that this time the letter was duly signed by Mr. President himself. Suffice to state that there is no cabinet yet. So we want to draw the attention of Mr. President that in his letter, since there is no cabinet, he couldn't have copied secretary to cabinet. And we noticed from the letter that he's copied the Vice President, Jubilee House, the Chief of Staff, Jubilee House, and also the Secretary to Cabinet. There is none. Having said that, Chair, we also would want to express a view on some three important national issues.
Honorable ranking, I recognize point of order.
The Constitution makes provision for a cabinet, and then it makes provision for appointing ministers to fill the cabinet. So the cabinet exists as an institution and has its secretary as ministers are being appointed to that cabinet. So you cannot say that because the cabinet, which is made up of the ministers, is not yet fully constituted, that there is no secretariat, that there is no secretary to cabinet. I've worked at the office of the president before, and I know that there's an office there that is the cabinet's office that will usually have a secretary. And for records purposes, documents have to be copied them so that they keep the records. So please, this level of trying to belittle everybody and create an impression that people don't know what they are about must stop. And secondly, I see that you're about to read a copious press conference, and I have an objection to that, pursuant to Order 2671 and 2.
Honorable Ayarga, your first point is well taken.
Yes.
We cannot preempt what he will say in his remaining remarks that he will have to do. So I agree with you that cabinet exists as an office, so in the constitution, and whatever letter that you are writing, at least you should make provision for a copy to be given to that particular office. So, Honorable Ranking Member, may you proceed, Chairman, with your...
Chairman,
are you on a point of order?
Yes, please. On what Honorable Ayarga said.
What is your point of order?
Yes, let me refer to my colleague to Article 76 of the Constitution on the establishment of a cabinet. It says that there shall be a cabinet which shall consist of the President and Vice President and not less than 10 and not more than 19 ministers of state. 2. The cabinet shall assist the President in the determination of general policy of the government. 3. Talks about there shall be a secretary to the cabinet who shall be appointed by the President. As we speak, all appointments duly made by the President has been communicated to the country. We don't know of any appointed secretary to the cabinet as envisaged under the Constitution. So if a letter is written to the Speaker and copied to the Secretary to the Cabinet, who is unknown, so it's right for the leader, minority leader, to have raised that. We don't have a Secretary to the Cabinet duly appointed in accordance with the Constitution. We don't have to. We know there's a Secretariat, but who is the Secretary to the Cabinet? Who was copied? So let's agree and move. We are talking about the Secretary to the Cabinet who was copied in the...
Honorable members, I think from the discussion, the Constitution is very clear that there shall be a cabinet, there shall be a secretary. And if cabinet exists and a letter is written, copied cabinet, I do not see anything wrong if such a letter is copied to that particular institution. I think it is in line with our normal practice that a copy of the letter. So, honorable members, can we make progress? Is it on the same issue? No, honorable Whip, I do not think we should spend so much time on this issue. I am minded to give the floor to the ranking member to proceed.
Too much time.
Just
an observation.
Honorable Chief Whip.
Speaker,
I am minded. I am minded to give the floor to your leader.
Yes, my leader
to proceed
will speak,
with
but I have
his
an observation
comments.
to make, pursuant to what the Honorable Mama Ayarga said.
Honorable Chief Whip, I am minded to give the floor to minority leader.
No,
to
Speaker, are you
proceed.
saying you allow me to speak? Is that it?
You will speak later.
No, I want to speak
leader.
now. I insist.
Minority leader,
no,
proceed.
It's important I speak. It's important. It's important. Yeah, so you should listen to me.
You didn't say you want to speak on a point of order.
But you should listen to me first. No, you raise a matter which is not right.
Mr. J.
Speaker, we cannot begin on this note. He made a point. If you just tolerate me just a minute, leader. He made a point that...
Honourable members, can we make progress?
Minority leader. No, I insist. I need to say this. He made a point.
Honourable members, can we make progress?
Belittle. No.
Honourable minority leader, you have the floor.
Us. We are members of this committee. Respect us. Respect my opinion. Listen to me. What? No, what is that? Why? I respect the chair.
Honourable members,
I do respect the chair.
Honourable members,
She also
I intend to manage the proceedings today. having taken a point of order,
Yeah, so
I have given the opportunity to my left side to also come in. And after that, I do not want us to engage in a banter on a preliminary issue. That is why I pleaded with you that let's give the floor. Let's give the floor to the minority leader to proceed.
I concede.
Because
going forward,
taking you, I'll have to take some from here, which would involve, you understand? So,
Speaker, no, please. Why? If for nothing at all, at least we listen to leaders.
Chairman.
When we meet, we listen to
Mr.
leaders.
Chairman.
Just a small point.
No, let's just try and tolerate each other here.
No.
What is wrong?
If you had allowed me, just a minute.
Yes, we would have
but
gone
you were
forward.
allowed. You should
Mr.
be
Chair.
allowed. I should not be allowed.
honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. I do not think we should be debating point of order. A point of order has been raised and have created the opportunity to my left side for a response. And once a response has been given to the point of order, we should proceed. So, Honorable Minority Leader, you have the floor.
Speaker, is it the case that you won't listen to me? If it's the case that you won't listen to me, that's fine. I'll give it to you.
Mr. Speaker,
but my
Mr.
colleague,
Speaker,
my senior colleague,
I think he
Honorable
doesn't
Ayariga,
have the floor.
use the word.
He's been disruptive.
Use
He's
the
been
word.
indisciplined. He's been
Attributed it to
disruptive
the
and indisciplined.
Respected minority leader.
Look, we need
this
Mr. Speaker,
attempt
Mr.
at
Chairman,
seeking to belittle.
we need
that
to
word should be
understand that
withdrawn.
this is an extension
No,
of
you shouldn't be
Parliament.
allowed to be using those words on the
This
minority
is an
leader.
extension of
It's most
Parliament.
unfair.
He
It's
ought
not
to
fair.
understand that. He's been a member of this Parliament
it's
for
not
4
fair.
terms. He was out of. You didn't give him the floor yet.
You do not have the floor.
He doesn't have the floor either.
You see, the minority leader has the floor. So please, Honorable Chief Whip, just give the minority leader the opportunity to this thing.
Speaker, you know, in this house, I respect you a lot. If it is a case that you are insisting that I shouldn't speak, I should defer to my leader, fine. The point I really wanted to make, a word used by Honorable Ayariga,
Honorable Chief Whip.
saying that the
Honorable Chief
He
Whip.
used that word. It should not be
Honorable
entertained.
Chief Whip.
No.
Honorable Chief Whip.
Well,
The floor
Speaker, you can
is
have your way.
given
You can have
to
your way.
the minority leader on whose behalf you want to speak. And I believe he will deal with the issue. That is why I'm pleading with you that let's give the floor to the minority leader. Yes.
Honorable Chair, I think we on this committee, we try to respect each and everybody's view. There's something that we need to observe here. Let's try as much as possible to be tolerant to what we have been tolerant over the years. But why is it that this time around you want to gag and you don't want us to say what we have to say? Oh, no, please. Why, if you are not giving opportunity for people to express themselves, this is the floor of Parliament.
Honorable Deputy Leader, with all due respect, I am to manage the affairs today. A point of order is not supposed to be debated. So a point of order has been raised. And I have given an opportunity to the other side for a response. Are we going to debate the point of order? It is on that basis that I was with a view that once we have taken a response to the point of order, the member speaking should be given the opportunity to continue.
Mr. Chair, if there's a serious concern, obviously you should allow it to be expressed there.
Listen to me.
You should listen to each other.
Listen to me.
Please.
Speaker, listen to me.
Honorable Minority Leader, you may please proceed.
So, Chairman, as was earlier observed, I need to reiterate on behalf of the Minority Caucus that we are pleased that upon raising constitutional objections to the earlier communication from the presidency, the right thing has been done. This time around, Mr. President himself has signed the letter, which letter is dated the 16th of January 2025, signed by himself with his full name. However, we are concerned about some other matters contained in the letter, one of which is the fact that this letter has been copied to the Secretary to Cabinet Office, Jubilee House, Accra. In view of Article 76, 77 of the Constitution, which I hereby, with your leave, proceed to read. 76(1), quote, "There shall be a cabinet which shall consist of the President, the Vice President, and not less than 10 and not more than 90 ministers of state." 76(2), "The cabinet shall assist the President in the determination of general policy of the government." 76(3), "There shall be a secretary to the cabinet who shall be appointed by the President." Mr. Chairman, in our view as minority, there must first be a cabinet. Here we are. We've only considered 3 nominees. Today, we are proceeding with the second batch of nominees. In fact, none of the nominees earlier interviewed has had a report duly moved on the floor to be taken, approved, and to be sworn in. We have become aware that Mr. President has appointed his secretary. We have become equally aware that Mr. President has appointed his chief of staff. We have become aware that Mr. President has appointed an advisor, a security advisor, to his office. These are matters of constitutional importance. There is no such cabinet yet. You cannot place something on nothing. It will fall. That is a rule. The Constitution provides for a cabinet, and we agree that that cabinet would have a secretariat. But there is no such cabinet in place, and the President has not even announced the appointment of a secretary to cabinet yet to be formed. So, Mr. Chair, we insist that this is being done in good faith. It's our duty as minority to point out some of these things to government. We do not do this to obstruct government. In fact, for the records, this is the first time that major appointments, nominations, are being considered expeditiously, because our side is of the view that the government must be in shape to get the country moving. We don't want the country to be run by civil servants at the various ministries. It's the reason why we are cooperating with government. Chairman, our second observation. that has to do with a matter of national importance. And this matter is rooted in the case of Theophilus Donko versus the Attorney General,
Mr. Chairman.
decided on the 12th of June 2019.
Point of order. Point
and
of order.
it was a matter that my respected colleague GHOne Eduji Tamaklu did at the Supreme Court. The background to this matter.
Mr. Point of order.
The background to this matter.
Mr. Chairman. Point of order.
It's as a result of
Point of order.
some revocation of appointments that took place in 2017. In the view of Mr. Eduji Tamaklu, certain chief executives who were appointed by the government, and for that matter, they were under Article 191 and 195, ought not to be sacked by mere operation of a change of government. This is what
Chairman, I have a point of
the
order.
court
I have a point of order.
said. Okay, sure. All right. Chairman, if you want to...
I recognize Honorable Yarega on a point of order.
Mr. Chairman, the standing orders of the Republic of Ghana makes provision for the establishment of committees, subcommittees, ad hoc committees, and etc. And then it provides for the scope of deliberation of committees. Scope of deliberation of committees. Everybody open your standing orders. Look at order 267. Everybody, please. I don't want us to sound like we're just being difficult. Open your standing orders. Let's read together. Order 267. 1 of 267 says that in the exercise of the oversight function of a committee, the committee may consider a matter within its mandate. A matter within its mandate. Number 1. Number 2, 2672 says that where the speaker refers a matter to a committee, the deliberations of that committee shall be confined to that matter. Shall be confined to that matter. The speaker has referred to us the nomination of Honorable Abuja for the post of Minister for Roads. And he is before us for vetting. Our mandate is to stick to the nomination and processing, questioning him, and etc. What has that got to do with a case that Eduji has initiated? Are you getting the point? And that relates to the appointment of chief executives. Are we considering the nomination of chief executive before this committee? Are we processing any chief executive before this committee? So how does the issue of how chief executives are dismissed, how they are appointed, the proper subject of this committee's deliberation this morning? You see, we cannot, every morning that we come here, turn this platform into a press conference. We cannot do that. It cannot be tolerated. It cannot be encouraged. When somebody objects, then you say that we're trying to be difficult. Please, we're all decent gentlemen and women here. Let's keep to our mandate. We are here to consider the nomination of 3 nominees that are before us. Let's stick to that. National issues, so what is not a national issue? Whether there's a toilet in my village, it's a national issue. Whether there's water flowing in my hometown, it's a national issue. Because everybody can decide what he defines as a national issue. But we're not saying that it is not even a national issue. We're saying that by our own standing orders, it is not a matter properly before us as a committee. And we are not mandated as a committee to consider it. Please, you are a senior lawyer. You are a senior lawyer. Read these standing orders. They are very clear.
Honorable members, a point of order has been raised. I am minded to take a response from my left side. So, Honorable Chief Whip.
Chairman, thank you for tolerating me. And I listened to our colleague, our senior colleague, Nwabo Ayariga, when he copiously referenced the orders. And, Speaker, if we want to proceed on that tangent, if you are going by Order 217, I mean, in this strict sense, no, I'm referring to 217. If you are going by the strict interpretation of the orders, we don't even have our mandate to be vetting our honorable nominee. It's unfortunate this is happening whilst the nominee is here. Because 217, there is inherent subject matter committee. And these committees have not been constituted yet. So if you are doing a strict interpretation of the rules, then we are not even qualified to be here. Speaker, Chairman, what the leader said is wrong. The deputy, the leader, the minority leader is seeking to raise a national issue. And it will not lie in your mouth to gag him. Earlier on, would you listen to me? Mr. Chairman, earlier on he used the word that the leader he comes here every morning seeking to belittle and also use this as a platform to make all sort of commentaries. We think it's most unfair. He should be tolerant a bit. Speaker, the point I'm essentially making, would you listen to me? Would you listen to me?
Honorable members, order.
Chairman, so let's go.
Order.
Yes.
Let there be order. Honorable members.
Speaker, it is interesting he's going by a strict interpretation of the rules.
Well,
then let's
Honorable Chief Whip.
Order 217.
Honorable Chief Whip, hold it.
But I'm not
Honorable members,
I hope you come back to
yes,
me.
Honorable members, let me inform you that we have that level, particularly the non-members of the committee. So let's observe some order.
Yeah, with respect, I'll just conclude on this matter. On the matter raised by our colleague, he should just be tolerant. And earlier on, they tried to preempt even what he was going to say, which was out of place.
Well,
Speaker,
Honorable Chief, are you done?
I'm just concluding.
Okay.
So I'm saying that if we are going to go, mind you, we are masters of our own rules. If we are going to go by a strict interpretation of the orders, then let's refer to Order 217, Subject Matter Committee. No, it wasn't waived. It was not. So let's go by strict interpretation. Then this committee is not properly constituted. If we are going by a strict interpretation of the rules, look. So, Speaker, our colleague is incoming.
You are not even supposed to be.
Our colleague is incoming. He has not come yet. He's incoming. He should be tolerant and listen to the minority leader.
Address the chair.
Mr. Chair, he's incoming. He hasn't come yet. He should tolerate the minority leader and listen to him. Allow the minority leader to raise all the relevant national issues.
Hold it.
Why?
Honorable Muntala.
Why?
Honorable Muntala Mohammed, I can hear you loud and clear. Wait for you to be given the floor.
Speaker, that will be all. That will be all.
Thank you very much. You see, honorable members, we all know, given the exigency of time, we rely on Order 3 to do certain things in the House. This morning, I have before me from the minority chief whip that Honorable Osei Nyako, Honorable Kofi Mafo are admitted as the subject matter committee members on rules and highways. Honorable members, let us not create the impression to the general public that we are not complying with Order 217. Order 217 has been complied with. Equally, I have the list of the members from the majority side on the subject matter committee members. The impression is created in the general public that admitting these people, they are friends to the committee and they are not supposed to ask questions. Let us not give credence to that kind of misinterpretation. I am placing it on record that we have the subject matter committee members sitting here. I can move further on education. We have Honorable Dr. Educhum and Honorable Ntim Fojo as the subject matter committee members. Now, on Agric, we have Honorable Brian Achampong and Honorable Dr. Isaac Yao Opoku. So clearly, we have the respective subject matter committee by the list that I have received. So I find it very difficult to take the point that we do not have the subject matter committee members here. So,
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
You don't have the floor, Honorable Brian Achampong. So, on this note, what I intend doing is that if there is a point of order, I will give room for a response to the point of order. I do not expect a point of order being taken to the response or the clarification that I am making. So, in my humble view, you are out of order. I want to give the floor to the minority leader to proceed, taking a cue from the objection raised. Well, honorable members,
Mr. Chairman,
he has not responded. So he should be given the opportunity to respond so that if there is a need to give a ruling, I'll proceed to give the ruling accordingly.
Thank you, Chairman. In responding to the objection by my respected colleague, Honorable Mahama Yariga, I shall first lay the foundation of the issue I was raising, and I shall catapult him into giving him a reasoned response, which response I believe, Mr. Chair, will lead to you dismissing his objection. Mr. Chair, the Supreme Court, speaking through His Lordship Korte,
Honorable Minority Leader, Honorable Minority Leader, the entire House is expecting me to give a ruling on the point of order raised, having listened to both sides. So if you want something to add to the point of order being raised, you are entitled to do so. Else, let me deliver a ruling on the issue.
Chairman, with respect, he raised a point of order against me. And I've told you that with your leave, I shall respond. And I will lay a foundation to my response to enable you appropriately determine the matter. And I believe that if that is done, the entire committee will know that his objection was indeed not founded on any law. In relying on the Supreme Court decision, which decision I have already quoted, and the Supreme Court speaking through my Lord Korte, paragraph 3.7, all the way to paragraph 4. I read, the Republic of Ghana is the sole majority or significant shareholder in a number of companies. These include Ghana Airport Company Limited, GCB Limited.
Honorable Minority Leader, the point of order for consideration is that Order 267 is clear. When a matter is referred to a committee, the committee must confine itself to the matter before the committee. The issue that you are raising relating to a Supreme Court judgment doesn't relate to the matter referred to the committee. So what the committee will have to consider is whether or not, having regard to the nominee before us, the issue that you are raising relates to that subject matter. Because the referrer is for us to vet the nominee. The issue you are raising has to do with the appointment of chief executives. So, if you want to respond, honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, can you listen to the chair in silence? So, your response
Speaker,
to the point of order should
Chairman,
take
you need
into
to allow the
consideration.
leader to speak.
Should take into consideration.
Chairman, you need
the
to
point
allow
of
the
order
leader to speak.
being raised.
It's total disagreement with you. Chairman, no. I'm not disrespecting him. I will not disrespect him. Allow the man to make his point.
Let him raise his
At least,
issue.
let him speak.
Take 10 minutes.
Let him speak. Abba.
Honorable another.
We were here, we observed.
You were not recognized by the chair.
I am not a first timer on this committee.
You were not
We
recognized by
observed what you did.
Honorable.
We observed what you did.
You were not.
We observed what Honorable Atufosi did.
Honorable.
The man wants to make his point.
You
These are
keep making
introductory
this
remarks.
point about tolerance.
These are just
You keep
introductory remarks.
making
You
this
can't tolerate
point
it.
about
You can't
tolerance.
take it.
This
Introductory
behavior
remarks, you
is
can't
not
take
being
it.
tolerant. You are not respecting the chair.
Kofi, have you been recognized?
Respect the chair.
Kofi, have you been recognized, Kofi?
Yes.
You know it. You know I respect the
You
chair.
have not been recognized and you are equally interfering. It's not right.
Honorable members, as the chair of the committee, a point of order has been raised within the meaning of our own standing orders. I'm therefore calling for a response in line with the point being raised.
At paragraph 3.7, quote, the Republic of Ghana is a sole majority
Chairman,
or
have you ruled on the
significant
matter?
shareholder
Have you ruled on the matter?
in a number of companies.
Have you ruled?
Honorable members,
These include Ghana Airport Limited.
honorable members, it appears the ranking member is not taking the guidance provided. The guidance is to the effect that a point of order has been raised to a specific issue supported by our own standing orders. I am not aware of these particular standing orders being waived. I am looking for a response to the point of order. But if he insists on going on without responding specifically to that particular issue, honorable members, this is my ruling.
Chairman,
You can we have comments?
Honorable Chairman.
You can.
Honorable Chairman, Honorable Chairman, with the greatest respect, I am as human as you are. The honorable member who raised the objection against me, as we are told, is going to be our new leader. He and I are going to work together. He knows as a matter of fact.
Nobody has communicated that to you that it's going to.
Very well, then I'll withdraw that. That's okay, that's all right, no problem. With the greatest, that's okay. That's all right. No problem. Chairman, I was giving my opening remarks. He's raised an objection to an aspect of the submission contained in my opening remarks. I am responding to him. My response to his objection is as of right. The chair must listen in silence to my response and thereafter make a ruling. Indeed, in silence. The chair must listen to my response. Mr. Chair, there's something that is very clear. When Honorable Ayerega had the opportunity, we all went quiet. My side, not a single soul opened his mouth because we felt he was raising a point that would require us to respond. We kept quiet. It is our turn to speak. We should be allowed to make our point. I'm responding to his point of order, and I've said I shall rely on a Supreme Court ruling to lay the foundation and use that to catapult the actual response. And so I should be allowed. And I have quoted the law, and I'm relying on the paragraph. Let me finish reading. When I finish, yes, don't worry. Don't worry. So let me finish. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, I need to finish. So the Republic of Ghana is the sole majority or significant shareholder in a number of companies. These include the Ghana Airport Company Limited, GCB Bank Limited, GHOne Limited, State Housing Company Limited, and National Investment Bank Limited. These are not statutory boards or corporations. They are limited liability companies incorporated under the Companies Act. Some are listed on the stock exchange. Upon purposive interpretation,
I recognize Honorable Amaboa on a point of order.
Oh, when I'm responding to a point of order, Chairman, wait. Chairman, you are Chairman. Chairman, you are.
The reason I raise this point of order, I take you to order 267 of our standing orders. The deliberations this morning must be centered around our mandate. And our mandate this morning is to vet the Minister for Roads and Highways nominee, and all questions that is coming from the minority or the ranking member must be related to roads, relevant to roads and highways. And so, Chairman, I'm calling on you to rule respectfully, rule the ranking member that is completely out of order.
Well, I believe the issue being raised by the Deputy Majority Leader is on point of relevance. I would urge the ranking member to take it into consideration in his response.
Yes. Thank you very much, Chairman. I continue. Some are listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Upon purposive interpretation of Section 14 of Act 845, we hold that members of the governing boards of these companies and chief executives are not affected by Section 14 of Act 845. Members of the boards and chief executives of such companies shall only be removed in accordance with the articles of incorporation of the company and the Companies Act 1963. Section 14 and
Majority Leader, are you on point of order?
Governing bodies.
Or point of information, or you want to interrupt? On point of order. Very well. Your interruption is less accommodating.
Okay, no problem.
Mr. Chairman, we have traveled this road before. This will not be the first time we will vet a nominee. This will not be the end. And Mr. Chairman, at all times, we are guided by our standing orders. Our standing orders on this matter is so clear. Mr. Chairman, the orders of this House is clear that any time a committee, a matter has been referred to a committee, the committee must concentrate and deal with the matter before the committee. The minority leader is bringing in matters that relate to appointment and dismissal of chief executives. It has nothing to do with the matter before us. Mr. Chairman, this cannot be tolerated. This cannot be tolerated. The majority leader, the minority leader can at all times address the media or use other tools available to him as the minority leader to address his concerns. But he cannot use this platform to address matters that are irrelevant to what is before us. What he's talking about, Mr. Chairman, is irrelevant to the matter before us. And so we cannot entertain it. Mr. Chairman, I urge you to rule him completely out of order. He is out of order. Please rule him out and let's deal with the matter before us.
Chairman, a reply.
Rule him out because what the matter before us has nothing to do with what he's asking, what he's reading. There are other tools he can use. Parliament will be sitting tomorrow. He can come in a form of a statement or whatever he wants to do. But as we sit here, we are here to vet the minister responsible for roads. The minister responsible for roads. Let's deal with the matter. The man has been sitting here for how long? For 1 hour, dealing with preliminary issues. This is not the platform, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, be strong and do your job.
Mr. Chairman.
Honorable members, I will recognize you. Honorable members, Honorable Brian Achampong, with all due respect, you are not a subject matter committee member for the appointment committee in relation to roads and highways. Therefore, you do not have the right and you cannot be given the platform to speak. I am told by the list provided by the whip to the effect that you should be recognized as a subject matter committee member for Agric. And I'm exactly going to give you the floor when you get to the vetting of Agric. The composition of the appointment committee is by Standing Order 217. It is clear that the committee is made up of 11 members, and the committee should be assisted by leadership of the subject matter committee. So once the minister designate before us is for roads and highways, the list submitted to me by the minority side to be the subject matter committee leadership members is what I am going to go by. That is why I have not given the floor to Muntala Mohammed to speak. Thank you very much. So all the other members should take notes accordingly. Honorable Deputy Minority Leader.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm very happy that our honorable leader, the outgoing leader of the majority side, mentioned the fact that the issues that are being raised relates to appointment of chief executives and everything. Our committee's name is Appointment Committee. If there are issues, no, let me tell you, it's not just whether ministers or not. What I believe that we need to be tolerant with each other. Let people, it's a preliminary issues that he's raising, and he should be given the chance. If there are some flaws in appointment, I think that one we should listen to. You cannot rule him out.
I recognize Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafamako.
Chairman, thank you very much. Chairman, first of all, there's no rule of this House that demands that the ranking member to the appointment committee must necessarily and willingly deliver an opening remark. It is not binding at all times. So if the invitation is a courtesy, if he continues to abuse the courtesy, it has to be withdrawn. And he's aggressively abusing this courtesy in a very prolonged manner. So I suggest that that courtesy be withdrawn. So we deal with the matter at hand. If he gets his turn to ask questions, he could frame the issues he's raising in the form of a question directed at the nominee. If the nominee is minded, he will respond. If it's not, he may not answer. Look, in Boefio versus NTHC, where a procedure is provided for a thing to be done, it is that procedure that must be applied. He's using the wrong forum to deal with a matter that he thinks strongly about. He should go to court. This is not the forum convenience. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman.
Honor. Okay. Let me hear from the ranking member on roads and highways.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, well, this is my first time joining the committee for the vetting of the nominee. I don't want to think and I don't want to believe that this is exactly what happens when the committee meets to vet. I believe all of us are members of parliament, and at a point in time we have to accommodate each other. I've seen the back and forth. We've been spending almost an hour going back and forth. I would suggest it's your ranking. He is deputizing you. Just give him, whether yes, he is assisting, whether he's deputizing or assisting him. That is the ranking.
It's a very important.
He's a very important member of the committee. And I will plead with you, Mr. Chairman, if it is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we have been raising point of order back and forth on this matter. Just give him 5 minutes to wrap up and let us move on. Other than that,
well, honorable members,
yes,
I have listened to all of you, and I'm inclined to say that it is trite learning. When a procedure is set down for a right to be exercised, it is that procedure alone that must be used in exercising the right. He mentioned the case of Boefio versus NTSC. I want to add the principles established in the case of Ashcam versus Karam. It is also true that when a matter is referred to the committee must limit itself to the referrer. The referrer to the appointment committee has nothing to do with the appointment of chief executives. I believe it is for a stated reason that the framers of the Constitution does not allow chief executives to be vetted by Parliament. It is for a stated reason that our standing orders do not allow vetting of the chief executives. So any issue relating to the appointment of chief executives, it is not a matter for consideration by the appointment committee. I would therefore urge upon the ranking member not to introduce any matter which is not within the ambit of the appointment committee. Let's limit ourselves to the referrer by the Speaker of Parliament, and we can make progress. Any matter which is not within the ambit of the appointment committee, is hereby ruled out of order.
Chairman.
Honorable Ranking and Minority Leader, please conclude.
Chairman. Chairman, I am happy that you have referred to some Supreme Court rulings, and my respected colleague Roxanne Dafiamapo also referred to a Supreme Court decision in his submission. I will therefore rely on the same right to proceed in my response to the objection you gave by relying on the Supreme Court,
Honorable Ranking,
that I was reading.
Honorable Ranking,
Chairman,
Honorable Ranking Member, I believed my ruling is loud and clear. So limit yourself to the mandate of the committee, please, with all due respect.
Paragraph 3.8. The Constitution establishes a number of governing bodies for public services.
Honorable Minority Leader,
please include.
You are again out of order. Honorable Minority Leader, you are out of order. Honorable members, can we proceed?
Chairman.
Honorable members, can we proceed?
Chairman.
Honorable members, you cannot ask your members to on the mic.
Chairman.
Honorable members, let's proceed.
Chairman.
I would call on Honorable Mahama Shaibu to start his question.
Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Chairman.
Chairman, I have objections. Chairman.
Thank you very much,
Chairman, I object.
Honorable nominee.
Chairman, I object to the conduct.
Congratulations, Honorable nominee.
Honorable Chairman, we cannot go.
Honorable nominee.
We cannot go on.
Congratulations.
In this way.
One more time.
No. Don't do this too, Chairman. No, you can't do this. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No, it's not going to happen.
I've looked through your CV.
It's not going to happen.
The question
Chairman,
of competence.
It's not going to happen.
It's not in doubt.
I've accorded you every courtesy.
Honorable nominee.
We've accorded you every courtesy.
May you listen to me?
We've accorded you every courtesy.
Honorable nominee, the former roads minister.
Chairman, we have accorded every courtesy. Your approach is not what we had agreed on.
And he said that
yes,
the NDC government had left behind 1 point.
Honourable members, I intend to suspend the sitting for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Right, so what you see now is that sitting has had to be suspended for 5 minutes due to the ongoing squabble or the challenge with Alexander Kwamna Penyo Markin deciding to veer off the substantive issue of vetting governs Kwame Agboja and resorting to proceed to issues surrounding the revocation of appointments of some CEOs of state agencies, and that generated a lot of heat at the appointments committee. It's been over an hour deliberating on that particular situation, for which reason the Speaker or the Chairman of the committee has had to now suspend sitting. And clearly, it looks like Parliament was unable, or the committee was unable to make headway with the vetting because of the constant interference by the ranking on the committee, also Minority Leader Alexander Kwamna Apenyo-Markin. He was insistent that he had to ask or make that preliminary subject on the issue of revocation of the appointment of some CEOs of state agencies. That did not go down well with the majority side, who felt that that was completely needless at that particular venture, where they had to discuss the appointment or the vetting of Governance Kwame Agboja. And so what we do know now is that sitting has been suspended for 5 minutes. That's according to the Speaker there. And the challenge has been that Alexander Kwamna Apenyo-Markin decided to veer off. And when that was overruled by the chairman of the committee, he says he was not going to allow for the processes to continue unless he is heard. That's what he is making, the point he's making. And he got the support from the minority side. We heard from Patricia Piaget and others on the minority side, including the Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central, talking about Patrick Boama, also supports the cause for the Speaker or the Chairman of the committee to hear Alexander Kwamna Apenyo-Markin. But then the argument from the other side was clearly that, well, this is not a matter for consideration. This is not why we are here. We are not here to talk about Eduji Tamaklo and the court case in 2017. That has nothing to do with the subject matter, which is the vetting of Governance Kwame Agboja for the Ministry of Roads and Highways. And so we cannot also allow you to go on that tangent. Now, this is not new to the committee. Mama Yaga raised concerns about the fact that, well, Apenyo-Markin did this in the previous vetting of the ministerial nominees and should not be allowed to continue on that tangent because per the rules of engagement, that was clearly not supposed to be on the table for discussion. And so those concerns were also raised. We saw the agitation from the majority side of the House, who believed that Apenyo-Markin for over 60 minutes had just put spokes in the wheels of the job that needs to be done today. And so Governance Kwame Agboja was sworn in. He sat in this chair for over an hour and no single question was posed to him because of the squabble between the majority and the minority in the House on this development. And so now we have gone for a 5 minutes break. Parliament has suspended sitting for a 5 minutes break, after which we hope strongly that would have the processes take off again. And so the suspension is enforced now, and for the next 5 minutes we would have that break for you. But what we also do know is that we'll shortly be going back to Parliament and bring you more. In fact, get some interactions, some reactions, I should say, from the members of the committee, as well as those who are there to observe on what they make of the process so far. The fact that Governance Kwame Agboja has been seated for over an hour without a single question posed to him. And so you can remember that later the Speaker or the Chairman of the committee gave the floor to the majority side to begin questioning of Governance Agboja. But then Apenyo-Markin says he is not going to allow that to happen. And that, like I said earlier, is not new. We saw that happen where Apenyo-Markin had resorted to other issues outside the appointments or outside the vetting that should be done. And he says that it's a matter of national issue. It's a matter of national concern. It borders on a national interest. And so he would have no option than to make sure that he's heard on the subject matter. And we also saw the rebuttals there. And so that's what is happening currently. The vetting of Governance Kwame Agboja put on hold for now. The committee has suspended sitting for 5 minutes. And so we'll be taking you back there. But Governance is also still seated. And I'm wondering what's running through his mind as he stands now. For over an hour, no question posed yet. You could just see the man in his pensive mood seated there, clearly not too excited about the waiting period because of issues that have no bearing whatsoever, have no relation to his appointment by President John Dramani Mahama to be the Minister for Roads and Highways. And so the substantive matter itself has not been dealt with as it stands now, and we would clearly be crossing over shortly also to our man on the grounds to get to know exactly what the reaction has been so far to the suspension, and then subsequent matters also relating to the vetting of President John Dramani Mahama's nominees. And so we'll now cross over to our man in Parliament, Ibrahim Al-Hassan. Ibrahim will be telling us more on these developments. Ibrahim Al-Hassan, so as it stands now, House suspended for 5 minutes. What is the reaction so far?
Well, so first of all,
Honorable Mahama, we have the floor.
Preliminary objections, and then that have resulted in the suspension of the hearing for 5 minutes. As we speak, the chairman is back at Bernard here for, but conspicuously missing members of the minority NPP. So Alexander Pamela Fenomakin and his charges are not here. So it's only the chairman and then also the other majority members of the committee and the friends of the committee that have returned, and the proceedings are ongoing as we speak. So let's go back and then witness what exactly happened. Like I said, the minority members are absent. As to whether we can now describe it as a walkout or a boycott, we are yet to find out.
Interesting. And so that's the situation currently in Parliament. At the vetting committee, Ibrahim Al-Hassan tells us that what we are not seeing now is the return of Alexander Kwamna Penyumakin, Patricia